Today is Tuesday, March the 15th. We're a couple days away from St. Patty's Day. Got quite a bit of news to cover for you. Silicon Valley Bank failure. Is this the beginning of the recession? Surely you've heard about this by now. Jobs numbers are in from last week, and I'm as surprised as anybody about what that looks like. And the Arkansas Learns Act finally got approved. We'll talk about all that and more, and we got a special guest for you today. Welcome to the patio. Hey, welcome to Life from the Patio. This is T, and I am here with Gary. Fortenberry and DW are all traveling this week. You see another face down in the bottom right-hand corner you guys probably aren't familiar with. We'll get to him in a second. But, Gary, how are you this evening?
I'm a little tired, T. We went pretty deep last night in some bourbon tasting. We went down the Buffalo Trace tree. We went all the way down the roots, son. It was pretty deep.
It was the roots.
We went to the roots.
And I'll tell you what, if you hadn't seen it, guys, you want to go check it out. I unfortunately, our audio man wasn't too good.
No.
T's audio wasn't very good. T and the audio man happened to be the same person, and we didn't know it until after. But the odd thing was your guys' audio sound pretty good.
Yeah, it was. And we did taste the Blantons, and it was in our top 10, just to let you guys know.
We only taste 7, by the way. Gary's been struggling ever since this, just so you guys know. We'll touch on it at the end because now I'm going to introduce you to, where'd I put him? There he is, Greg. How are you today, Greg? Tell everybody who is Greg?
Who is Greg? Well, Greg is me, Greg Chaffin, here in Marion, Arkansas.
What do you do, Greg?
Work in college food service.
Nice.
Greg's been traveling. He's actually back home now after 6 months of traveling, only home for the weekends, and he's going to join us today. He's actually got us some bourbon to try, guys. We're kind of excited about it. It's one I haven't tried. One that I have tried. Got 2 bourbons for us to try.
That's an easy way to get on the patio. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I guarantee. We
Have some bourbon.
We like bourbon. Let's just jump right in here. We talked about this a little bit last week, Jeremy's chocolate. Have you bought any Jeremy's chocolate?
I have not. I heard it's a little pricey, though, isn't it?
It's very pricey. Well, they dropped another ad. This time it was, let's skip this.
Oh.
I'll cut it out. I don't like it.
You don't like chocolate?
You know, it was, I thought it was something good, but it's not.
It's crap.
Let's jump in. Silicon Valley Bank. You guys heard of this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So on Friday, maybe even Thursday, you've heard of having a run on a bank. So basically, all of the people that have money in the bank or a large portion tried to withdraw the money, and they couldn't cover it.
Yeah. Why did they all go at one time? It was because of rumors or something, or the market. What made everybody decide? Okay, I'm gonna pull out from this bank. That's where I missed that.
I think it's been in the news. People are worried about that bank. So that bank's been around for like 40 years. Their claim to fame, I guess, is that they supported all of the Silicon Valley startups. They provided money to those people, handled their money. I actually heard a liquor store here in Memphis, they couldn't make payroll last week because they used Silicon Valley Bank and had to come up with money from somewhere else because they couldn't get to their payroll. They covered it and moved on. But is this the start of something? Is this the start of something? Are we going to see more of this? Because the Fed's already saying that they're not going to bail this company out. Although there is one Superman I've heard mentioned that might.
A Superman?
A Superman.
Is it like Elon Musk?
Elon Musk is considering buying Silicon Valley Bank. So if he owns Twitter and then buys a bank.
It's what, the 15th largest bank in the world or something like that?
It's a pretty good sized bank. It is the 16th largest bank in the nation with $209 billion in total assets and $175 billion in deposits as of December 2022. I had never heard of this bank, but we're not in Silicon Valley either. We're more like in Meth Valley. Meth Valley, USA, or the Mississippi Delta Valley, I guess the Delta.
This Meth Valley, we don't ever crash. We have a lot of withdrawals, but we keep going.
Yes, it does. The bank, which was in a liquidity crisis, had been scrambling to shore up its finances. On Wednesday, the bank said it had taken strategic actions to strengthen its financial positions, and then by Thursday, the stock had fallen 60%, and then another 60%. But the ironic thing is, they paid out a lot of bonuses Thursday morning before the bank.
The bank itself
sent to all of its employees.
Oh, yeah. So they saw it coming.
They saw it coming.
They said, "Here's your bonus. You ain't getting paid for anything else. We're done." So, do y'all invest in gold? Greg, you got a bunch of gold? Are you like a leprechaun?
Gold.
I'm coming to your house. Not at the moment.
I invest in bourbon.
That's a good investment. I hear it. It lasts for years and years, but not at my house. Only a couple days.
Couple days.
Because we'll get to the apocalypse, and I'll be out of bourbon in 2 days because I'll be taste testing it too much.
We'll have to partner up. I've got bullets.
You got bullets. That's lead. He invested in lead.
We have a group that started during COVID. It was called Team Apocalypse. Mm-hmm. And basically we were on the standby, at the ready. We were at the ready in case we needed to.
When did we start that? Was that
2019?
That was before COVID.
No, 2020. We started it right at COVID.
Right at COVID, okay.
Right at COVID. Yeah, I remember watching the movie The Outbreak, I think it was. And I was like, okay, that could happen.
With Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, and Matt Damon.
Was it Cuba Gooding Jr. was in it too? He was a doctor / helicopter guy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And there's a monkey. Had not McLovin. What was that? McDreamy. He was one of the first guys to get sick.
Yeah, that's kind of fitting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
he was dead.
Let's talk a little bit about politics. Okay. Ron DeSantis. I actually said that name right. Jamie would be proud of me.
He would.
There's an op-ed from The Guardian suggesting DeSantis' presidency would be a threat to the nation and the world beyond. It's appalling to see the media lavish him with so much fawning coverage.
Why would it be a threat to the nation?
I don't know.
I love how they throw out these, like, it's the end of the world if he's president. They
said that about Trump, too.
Yeah, they did. And it seemed like our economics, started booming a little bit. Our economy was doing, our economy is now dead. Joe Biden done riding it to the grave is what he's doing.
If DeSantis should somehow capture the presidency, she said, that threat would extend to our entire nation and the world beyond. And with the threat she's talking about, they don't like his stopping the woke stuff, the parental rights, the Don't Say Gay bill, which is really wrongly terminated. She notes that the Parental Rights and Education Bill prevents teachers from talking about gender identity and sexual orientation in some elementary school grades. Yeah. I applaud that. There's no reason to. I guess you could say our governor just had a very similar bill. She has outlawed the talking about sex before 5th grade. Why did they need to talk about sex before 5th grade? Why do you need to talk about it in 5th grade?
Well, I mean, when we were in school, we had health and PE where they started talking about sex. And if I remember correctly, that was like junior high when we started talking about that. Am I correct?
Yeah, probably.
It was like junior high when we started worrying about sex.
Well,
but why are we worried about sex? I mean, children, they're not worried about sex till they go through puberty. They're not.
No.
When I was 10 years old, I wasn't worried about sex. I was worried about catching baseballs and throwing baseballs and breaking crap and
playing basketball,
building forts.
See, we need more fort building.
We mean more fort building.
That was Fortnite before there was Fortnite. That was Fortnite when kids actually chased each other around and built things in the backyard. They didn't do it online. We need more of that.
Yeah.
Maybe losing the internet would be one of the best things.
I mean, sex is confusing to a kid. He's like, to somebody who's not going through.
Sex is confusing to adults.
It is to a lot of people. Like, what do I do with my thumbs? You're like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give you applause on that.
Yeah, you don't know what to do.
Those buttons one of these days.
Sometimes it gets awkward, but definitely a kid who's very easily, someone can influence a child very easily. Talking about sex is very dangerous, I think. It's going down a bad place.
Speaking of which, I'm going to have to find this one. There was a Cheercoach, I think in maybe Texas. She had apparently groomed a 14-year-old, and they had probably had sex over 300 times.
Yeah, it was her daughter's boyfriend.
Yeah, it was her daughter's boyfriend.
She groomed her daughter's boyfriend, 14. Wow. Wow, that's pretty. Oh, well. Well, I mean, that's not good.
We are hearing a lot more about the women doing this type of things. You know, we got our friend there, Meredith, who we hadn't heard much about. But then you've got a Cheercoach. There was one earlier this week. It was a lady that had slept with like an entire team, I think it was. What is wrong with people? Did this always happen? And the thing is, it just never was newsworthy?
Let me tell you what I think it is. I think it's social media. And hear me out on this.
No, we're listening.
You're listening, okay? I think it's what's different now than what we as kids. What's different from then to now? It's social media, and now these older people now are getting all this attention, and that they never had before because they're on social media, and they like that attention. And regardless if it's from a kid or an adult, they want that attention, and then it bleeds over into other things because, you love my videos, or because look at Meredith. Okay, let's look at Meredith. What was she doing? She was TikToking. She was TikToking, and it was very. I don't know if you saw those videos. They were very. They were towards. They were for the younger generation.
You make a good point though, because when we didn't have cell phones.
We did not.
We did not have Snapchats. We didn't have Facebook.
We didn't have face chats and Snapbooks or any of those.
None of those. So if an older lady would have to physically come on to you.
Yep.
To initiate those things, I know some teenagers that were that confident. I wasn't one of them that confident. I wouldn't have tried to mac down some older lady. But now, because this is how this one started. They claimed that she added him on Snapchat, sent him a snap and said, you want to see something? And then sent him a nude.
Yep.
And said, did you send that by mistake? So she sent him another nude.
And doesn't Snapchat delete like after like 10 seconds or something like that?
I'm not.
I don't know how to Snapchat. Do you know how to Snapchat?
Not at all.
Okay.
I'm not a smart chap.
No.
When it comes to that. But now I was just reading this article. I didn't realize it. So apparently she started the relationship at 16. So if this was in Arkansas, would that even be against the law?
No, not in Arkansas. No, you're 16. You're available apparently to anybody. Because
she's not his parent or guardian, but she was a cheer coach. But I don't think he partook in the cheer. But I think you're right.
I think social.
What it is, social media allows.
It's provided more opportunities for these people that have issues that before they didn't have that type of opportunity where just a press the button you can send a picture of a nude to somebody or something. I don't know. I don't send any nudes, but what about you, Greg? How many nudes you send? How quick?
This week?
This week, yeah.
None this week.
None this week? Okay, well. Okay, that's good, though, I guess.
It depends on nude, how you define nude.
I mean.
How would you define nude, Scoff?
I mean, I'm my private areas would be nude, I would say. Now, I'm not going to say bare skin because some
hairy.
people, I'm
and you're
pretty hairy. I'm a hairy Gary, Nah.
Now you've got another nickname or a split personality.
Yeah.
All right. So we've been talking about World War III a lot, right? We've been talking about China. We've been talking about Ukraine. We've been talking about Russia. We've been talking about Uncle Joe and the dirty
South.
The dirty South. Yeah, because the South maybe won't leave this union. So China, though, we need to be worried about China. And we've been talking about it for a while. So a couple of things. I'm going to touch on a couple of things with China. China calls for upgrading their military to world-class standards. We already heard that they want to be heading toward Taiwan by, 2027, I think it was. So they come out and say this. Then, did you hear what else China has gotten credit for?
Credit? No.
Yeah, they got credit for something. They did something. They went in, and I've got to find it. I thought I had it right here on top. Here it is. China was the force that connected Iran and Saudi Arabia to overcome their conflict. They brokered landmark diplomacy between key U.S. ally Saudi Arabia and Iran.
Chinese, the peacemakers.
Winnie the Pooh.
The Pooh. I mean, Pooh brings us all together. Winnie the Pooh.
Unless he's violent. What was that? The horror movie with Winnie the Pooh. We swore we were going to watch it. And you still hadn't sang.
I've not seen the horror movie with Winnie the Pooh.
You didn't create your Chat GPT song.
I've not created a Chat GPT song for
People are wanting to hear this song.
That goes with the Barnum Bailey circus song that I've created for Uncle Joe.
Yeah, Uncle Joe. So Saudi Arabia and Iran are set to resume formal diplomatic relations for the first time in years after reaching an agreement brokered by China. Tehran and Riyadh, I guess that's Saudi Arabia, reached the agreement Friday after months of negotiations. Why were we not involved in these?
I don't know. Do you think that that they're talking about this now because they want the Chinese to come in to solve the Ukraine-Russia issue now?
Well, the United States, they say, did not seem alarmed at the reestablishment of this relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran by another adversary, China. So that entire region, it seems to be setting up this caliphate. I don't know if that's the right word for it.
Caliphate.
A caliphate. They don't believe in God, right? Yeah. None of those people believe in our God anyway. They don't believe in Jesus Christ. Chinese, I don't even know if they have any real religion. I mean, Buddhism. That's not Chinese, is it?
I think they just go to their emperor, the Xi Jinping Pooh. That's the
Chow Ching. Now you got me tongue tied. I don't need any help, Scoff. But really, should we not be worried? So you got Iran and Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia controls all the oil. OPEC, they are OPEC for the most part. We talked about the other night about the petrodollar, the oil dollar. I was talking about how the U.S. dollar's tied into it. We've got inflation, record highs. We've got now Iran and Saudi Arabia working out their problems. China's the one brokering these discussions. We have Russia in the Ukraine. That battles are getting bloodier. The war wages on. Who was the neighbor to the Ukraine that last week we apparently pledged support to? Also, I can't remember which one of those countries. Something I'd probably not even heard of hardly much. But I think the U.S. should be worried. We should be worried. We should be worried. And instead of worrying about that, we were worrying too much about pro-life, about abortion. We're worrying too much about
our
pronouns.
We're worried about our privates and pronouns.
Privates and pronouns.
Privates and pronouns is what we're worried about, Greg. I mean, I worry about my privates too, but I don't want to talk about it with other people.
Not on the global scale, anyway.
No, not on the global scale. No. Locally, yeah, sure, but not globally.
Speaking of one of our other favorite topics, and I swear I try not to get into these, but this ought to be a good point of discussion, okay? An Indiana University School of Medicine is forcing first-year medical students to take woke sex and gender primer lessons that claim cervical cancer screening should be offered to people, not women, in order to be inclusive. So cervical cancer screenings should be offered to everyone, just so you don't offend someone that doesn't have a cervix.
Oh, is it? Oh my gosh. Okay, so how many biological males have ever had cervical cancer?
The lesson says gender is a construct and sex is a mostly biological construct.
We're getting dumber by the day. We really are.
The lesson advises introducing 4-year-olds to ideas about the difference between gender and sex, and by 6, kids should have private consultations. There is no freaking kid that should have any private consults without their parent involved. You can't. The police can't come question a child without their parent. Or
parents got to be there. Yeah,
a minor. Why the hell are we letting these people who have agendas talk to our kids in private about things such as this? Because I'll guarantee you, I can convince a 5-year-old that they probably are a dog.
Yeah, you can,
or a bear,
a girl, a boy, whatever you want to make them, because they're can be easily influenced. They're children. They're still trying to figure out themselves, the world, everything. But you taking them down this a road that you want them to go down, that's where they're going to go.
That's where they're going to go. Along a similar, you got any more thoughts on that before I jump in?
I think all men should start taking, birth control pills as well. And also,
what would that do to you?
And we should also, I think it helps with acne.
Does it really?
I think so. I think it helps people with some. I've heard some females in the past say that birth control helps with acne. I don't know. And then we also should have pregnancy tests free for any male that wants to take one. What do you think?
It's only fair.
It is only fair, and
pregnancy tests,
because obviously if they can have cervical cancer, they can be pregnant. They're gonna be prego with egos.
So along these same lines, in Arizona, there is a high school policy that now tells girls to leave their locker room if they're uncomfortable with trans students being in their locker room.
Yeah.
You can't make this crap up, guys. This is not
all right. So
made upness.
Here's the problem.
This is
all right, we always talk about trans. Okay, define trans. At what point in time does a male convert to female? Is it just based on their decision on that day? What is the cutoff point of me saying I'm a female? I'm going to go to that bathroom. Right. Is there a certain amount of time? It's obviously not biological.
I want to get back into it, but I got to tell you about this other story.
Okay.
Because it kind of plays along with it. Okay. Let me make sure I get the right.
As long as it don't play too long with it, we're okay.
Concord, New Hampshire, known for wokeness, right? A father who was banned from occupying an elementary school's property dressed up as Julius Caesar at a recent school board meeting on Monday to drive his claims that a public school district is facilitating gender confusion. I love this story, actually. I am Caesar, he said. Julius Caesar of Rome, the emperor. I am also a female, he said. Does anybody here believe that I am Julius Caesar? Anybody believe that? No, of course not. It's ridiculous. And what this is in response to is let me make sure I get that right too. There is, I believe it's a kindergarten teacher, but it's art teacher, of course, who identifies as a member of LGBTQ plus community for his decision to wear traditionally female clothing during the school day. He says, why can they not just do that in their private time and dress normally at school? And so but is this not, how is that any different? If he wants to declare he's Julius Caesar, how is that any different than anyone who hasn't had the operation claiming that they're the opposite sex?
You got any takes on this, Greg, before I go off? You can go right now if you like.
Before you go off.
Before I go off.
Go for it.
Oh, I'm gonna go for it.
Oh, he's grumbling. He's moaning.
I don't get it. I understand. I want people to be whatever they want to be. If you want to be a cow, you can be a cow. If you want to be a girl, you can be a girl. But don't push it on my kids based on your decisions. My kids do not have to participate in what you want to do. I don't have to. That's the problem. You're trying to make me participate. I don't want to participate. I don't. It's not being phobic or anything like that. I'm not scared of it. I hate when they say transphobic. It's where people are scared. It's being scared. It's fearful. I'm not fearful of these people. I'm not.
Let me interject something because I heard this the other day and I thought it was very well put. I wish I could remember who said it. Hopefully it wasn't anybody controversial because I'll get us in trouble. But someone put it this way. They said, if you're a 35-year-old man, and you have had the operation and you have gone through all of this in your life and you've went through this very difficult time to change, I don't have a problem calling you a woman, okay? But a 17-year-old boy who decides tomorrow I'm going to be a girl, when I was a boy yesterday, they haven't had any surgeries. They haven't really done anything other than proclaim I am. I can't facilitate that. Well, and I think it's a great point. I thought it was a very good point. If someone goes to all that trouble, and you know they've been through a lot by the time they get there, then I've got no problem with respecting their decisions. They're an adult. They were given opportunities.
Yep.
But these kids, because the other thing, and these kids are being allowed to compete with girl sports.
Yep.
That really haven't changed anything other than they say I want to compete with girl sports.
That's it. That's all you got to do, apparently. But I mean, how many boys? Okay, I've I've known some guys that are very weird and not very good boys growing up when I was younger. And do you think, I mean, T, you probably have known some as well that are, not very good. Yeah. People, if they had that option when they were 16, 17 to say, hey, I'm a girl and I'm going to use the girls' bathroom, do you think they would have done that just so they could go to the girls' bathroom and look at females?
Oh, I probably know
10
of them.
Name
10 right now.
So, I mean, what makes it okay now? It shouldn't be okay. It's not okay.
So, we're dads. You're a girl dad. You're a boy dad. I'm a boy dad.
Yep.
Greg's a boy dad. Scoff has a couple of girls.
Mm-hmm. Got a few of them, yeah.
Got a few of them. 3 of them, I guess.
Yeah, I got 3 of them running around.
And girls just have other things going on in the bathroom that men do not. Even if they define themselves as a girl, they don't have those things going on in the bathroom. It can be very personable. It can be very embarrassing to young girls.
Yeah.
It's a difficult time. This life is different. And, there's been this huge push for bringing ladies or young ladies, make sure they're treated equally. Right? Mm-hmm. Why the hell are our boys trying to steal that away from the women? And why is it now okay that everyone says it's okay for those people to take away the things the women have fought for all these years?
Whatever happened to Title IX? Is that null and void now? Is that gone? I mean,
look, I mentioned that night I'm writing a book. I think I forgot the name of it, but I'm gonna write a damn book.
So what keeps a boy who tried out for the boys team that didn't make it go try out for the girls team because he now identifies as a girl and makes the girls team? Nothing. There's nothing.
Now, I doubt we've experienced that here.
Now I do applaud that shop teacher though. Like I think he's playing the game. I don't
know. I've heard it both ways.
I've heard it both ways.
I'll tell you what. I'll dig into it. We'll talk about
the shop
Wednesday,
teacher guy.
The shop teacher guy with the
humongous
Z breast. All right.
Yeah.
I've got another story here. I happened across this earlier. It's along these lines. And before we get into this, we're not saying that this is our opinion. This is going to be controversial, I'm sure.
Oh my!
I'm not even sure where it comes from, but I know who said it here. The experts are now concerned because they believe a huge portion of children pursuing gender transition are actually autistic, or at least on the spectrum.
That's what I've heard.
Oh, you've heard this too?
I've heard that the majority of kids who are confused about their gender have autism.
Well, so here's the rationale. Adolescents with autism are overpressured in the youth transgender population, and some medical professionals attribute this to autism spectrum traits such as obsessive thinking, vulnerability to body image issues, a sense of social rejection, and isolation during adolescence. But doesn't that sum up your youth, your teenage years, your pubescent teenage years? You start puberty, and this is what everyone worries about.
Greg, at what age did you start knowing that you're going to like girls? Like
it was early.
It was early, okay. But, were you worried about dating at the age of 10, 11, 12? Not a chance. No.
Well, but even with these kids today say we're dating, and they basically
sit by each other in the lunchroom,
message each other a little bit. They don't have time to sit next to each other. Yeah, they'd rather be hanging with the boys. I assure you.
I'd date somebody back in school if they let me have like their extra cinnamon roll or something like that. I'm like, yeah, be your boyfriend.
That makes you like a lady of the night or a man of the night.
Man of the night. I could sell myself for a cinnamon roll.
Selling your love for
Marion cinnamon rolls were the bomb. I'd be whoever's boyfriend or girlfriend they let me have that cinnamon roll. Be good.
Look, our poor kids have to navigate some crap that we never even thought about.
Oh yeah, no, it's social media. That's what it is.
So Gary, if I'm going to ask you, and I don't think we've really talked about this. How do you feel about climate policy?
Climate change or climate policy?
About our climate.
I really don't care at all. I mean, people are basing climate change is what they're saying, and climate change. Yes, our climate changes all the time.
Thankfully, it does.
It does. It changes all the time. So
otherwise, we'd be under ice right
now. It's a word that was made up that sounds really cool and makes it sound really bad, but it's just the fact that it's gonna do it regardless if we change whatever we're doing or not. So, do I think we're about to die because of the climate? No, I think the climate changes based on how forever, and they're like, well, it's warming up, but you know how much data that we have is a very small snippet of data that we have.
Well, all of recorded history, if you were to say a clock starting at midnight, and we're say at noon. Yeah, all of recorded history is basically the last like 3 minutes.
3 minutes, and we have no clue.
Look, if you want to really get your mind blown, go study a little bit about ancient Egypt or some of the ancient pyramids. Some of the technology that they now believe they may have had is ridiculous. But the reason I ask about climate change, where would you think if we were to compare the U.S. to say China? How are we doing, the U.S. versus China?
Oh, we're holding ourselves back and letting China do whatever the heck they want is what we're doing.
Well, so Biden's energy secretary says we can all learn from China on climate policy.
That's a lie. We cannot learn from China on climate policy.
Everyone could learn from China, she said. When it comes to climate policy, China approved 168 new power plants fueled by coal in 2022. You know, we're getting ready we are mothballing coal plants before we have energy to replace them. Or I can't remember how far out it is, but there's over $200 million that they'll have to pay in fines or updates to continue running these coal plants. So they think it's okay for America, the people of the U.S., to deal with rolling blackouts. That's really what they're proposing, is that we end up like California and Texas. Texas has a lot of rolling blackouts. I didn't know this till the other day.
Yeah, they do.
They are number 2. Texas is number 2 in renewable energy. Did you know that?
I didn't know they were number 2 in renewable.
They're number 2 in the U.S.
I wouldn't have guessed Texas, no.
Me either.
I would have said...
So what's that say about Texas?
I would say California and New York, something like that. But Texas is... I don't know.
They're turning purple. That's what it tells you.
Turning purple.
They're turning purple. And when Texas flips to blue,
so
the Republicans never win another election.
Yeah, I don't see them going blue. They're going to stay red. They'll stay red. I have faith. Because even the majority. I mean, I would say Texas is probably have a lot of a lot of people from Mexico in Texas that live there and that are actual citizens of the U.S. A lot of those people are conservative. They're still they're conservative. They do not like.
Do you think they're informed? Do you think they're informed enough and have access to information to help them make those decisions?
I think 90% of America is misinformed or don't have enough information. So yeah, 90% of Texas probably does too.
They don't care enough to look either.
No, they don't.
Most of Americans will continue because they say, what doesn't impact my daily life? Look, if someone listening to this tries to convince me their life is better now, financially anyway, than it was 2-3 years ago, I'm going to call you a liar. There are very few people that can make that statement.
Yeah, very few. That they had to invest in
nothing. The market's down, right?
Well, were the people that invest in the stock market of failing and stuff like that, like the housing market crash? Who was those? The short changers or whatever. Short sellers. I believe those people.
We talking about energy. I got another story here, and when I first read this one, it blew my mind. Biden administration is set to overrule the green interests and approve a massive Alaska oil project. Why do you think he's doing that? I got my thoughts.
Well, he's approving Alaska, so I'm assuming this is for oil.
For ConocoPhillips application to establish 3 drilling locations in Alaska.
Because I don't know.
He's got to ease off the pressure before the election.
Exactly, that's my thought too. He's got to look. Gas prices are going up. The reserves have been depleted. If we go to war right now, we don't have enough fuel or oil.
But we have it here. We just won't allow anybody to drill for it. And they say, yeah, we allow drilling and stuff, but they don't approve the permits.
They don't approve the permits.
They don't approve the permits.
And this will allow them to produce roughly 180,000 barrels of crude oil per day. That's 1.6% of the nation's current oil production. So they're going to increase oil production 2%. That really doesn't sound like much. It doesn't sound like enough to me.
No.
But who am I?
I mean, where's the majority of our oil coming from right now? That's my question.
Venezuela, right? Are we getting our oil from Venezuela because Saudi Arabia wouldn't?
No, Saudi Arabia wasn't playing ball with us, I guess.
Yeah, I should have mentioned this this story earlier, and unfortunately, I hate when we jump around. I was trying to group everything together, but I got to come back a minute here because the reason I do, you guys got to hear this term. Okay, listen closely.
Okay,
genderqueer shapeshifter provided school districts professional development training for teachers.
Shapeshifter?
Genderqueer shapeshifter.
Were they shift? Did they have like balloon animals in their pants? That's the only way I could figure you can shift something. I don't know.
They consider themselves a genderqueer shapeshifter and an artist of people.
An artist of people? How do you artiste people? I need some more information.
Well, I'm going to try to get to that, but I want to read the article here. So the training taught educators how to be a better ally and the difference between sex assigned at birth, gender identity, and gender expression. Teachers and staff are responsible for preparing students for academic success in their course subjects. Meanwhile, administrators force them to prioritize social and emotional staff trainings above all else. We're doomed. We are doomed.
I talk about it all the time. Has anybody watched Idiocracy yet?
No, I still haven't.
Oh my gosh, Greg, have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
I haven't.
It is.
Go out there and watch it.
You have to watch it. That's what Jamie sent today. Was that the president? Yeah, that's the president of the movie. He's the president of the United States. So
Terry Crews, he died. And he did. Terry Crews did.
Terry Crews is still
He's
alive.
Not dead?
No,
okay.
just the public.
I thought that was from Idiocracy.
No, that's from. He's the president, whatever his name is, he's the president of Idiocracy in the future. And because he's like professional wrestler, he's the most popular person, so he's the president. He's also the smartest man alive at that time but yeah, you got to watch it. It's pretty much talks about, shows that the average person from 2010 or whatever wakes up like 300 years later and is the smartest person in the world because everybody's just dumb, just super dumb. And that's what's happening right now.
It's first world problems. We don't have the real problems anymore. We don't have people starving. We have a lot of people out of work.
Yeah.
We have a homeless crisis that we choose to worry about pronouns, and we treat to worry about these social issues as opposed to helping the homeless crisis. We do have a homeless crisis, and it's mostly out west. Mm-hmm. It's mostly out west.
But we sure are hurting people by calling them by the wrong pronoun. We really are. I feel so bad. I mean, why can't we just be people and just be okay with things? Okay, names and words don't hurt people unless you let them, and that's your fault for letting them.
I was surprised when I read this story. America's child marriage shame. More than 100 teen girls have wed older adult men since 2021.
Isn't that where the parents still sign off on that? They have to give permission for that.
So the era of 11-year-old girls marrying much older men in America's rearview mirror. So that was a long time ago. We all learned about that in school.
Okay.
But figures from Unchained at Last. This story comes from Daily Mail, which happens to be it's a UK website, but it seems to be more honest than most of ours. A nonprofit that campaigns to end young marriages, showing how scores of kids, mostly girls aged 16, 17, have wed adults from Maine to North Dakota these past 2 years. It includes 30 teens in West Virginia, 39 in Michigan, and another 15 in Wyoming. And let's see. Once all the figures from 2021 and 2022 are available, researchers expect to uncover hundreds and thousands, possibly thousands of cases which can condemn teens to young pregnancies and abusive groomer husbands. This reviews horror stories of child brides. One is 13, was married and pregnant with a man 19 years older than her. Another was raped as a child by a deacon who she was coerced into marrying.
Oh, my gosh.
This is not from like 50 years ago. This is like just over the last few years. I was absolutely disturbed by this.
I mean, I can understand from a long time ago because like the age of which you died was much younger than what you are now.
And it was not uncommon for really poor families, for man of maybe stature lose a wife and he'd come in, I guess, trade for a child. It's not right.
It's not right,
but
no.
It was. But can you believe this is still going on? So there are girls in their early teens that are raped. I mean, that's rape.
That's rape.
And then they're marrying those people.
I mean, they probably don't have a choice because, they're very easily influenced. And their mother and father is probably telling them, yeah, you got to do this. It's going to be a better life for you. I'm sure that this person's already financially stable, which, a lot of people in today's age, see that as a step up. So they got to go marry that person because they want to marry him. They have money.
Check this out. A 2001 study found that 300,000 minors under the age of 18 were legally married in the U.S. between 2000 and 2018. All right. Most of them were like 16, 17. All right. I can maybe buy that.
I can buy 16, 17.
Check this out, though. 5 were 10-year-olds.
No.
1 was an 11-year-old.
No.
14 were 12-year-olds. And 78 were 13-year-olds.
No. How is that legal? That's 13-year-old.
The 10 states with the highest per capita rates of child marriage. Nevada is number 1. Arkansas is number 3.
Where's Utah?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7, because I could see I do understand that Mormons and stuff do. I'm not downing the Mormon religion or anything like that. I just know that they take multiple wives sometimes and sometimes get younger wives sometimes.
It's disturbing.
It is.
I mean, everything that we just talked about, the whole damn world is a disturbing place, right?
But it makes sense for Arkansas too, because in some of these, for especially in the mountains, wonderful, beautiful places, but you get in there and then you get some really weird stuff going on. I blame meth. It's methed us up.
All right, I got a funny story here. In Taiwan. No wonder I guess China wants to take over Taiwan. Home basketball team's cheerleaders, let's see how they put it here, shake what their mamas gave them to distract opponents. And there's a video, and they're basically pulling up their skirts, twerking. As they're shooting free throws. They're basically doing things they should not be doing. The Taiwan Beer, that's the name of the team, faced off against the Chengao BLL in the Taiwanese Super League, with the latter having a 6-point lead. At one point during the game, the Beer's Su Pai Chang was at the free throw line attempting to chip away at their lead, but while trying to concentrate on the line, he had a tough time because a group of cheerleaders were.
Oh, that's terrible. You know what my wife asked me today? She's like, I can't believe this is a competition. She showed me a video, and it was women twerking. I was like, yeah, that's a thing now. That they're probably going to have an Olympic event. I give it another 10 years. We'll have an Olympic event for twerking. How much you want to bet?
You know what? Someone in this room may have been in a twerking competition.
I don't think it was a competition because I won it, because I was the only one involved in it.
But that's for another story.
Yeah.
That's for another time.
Yes, I twerked. And
twerked.
It was beautiful. It was like seeing a baby being born.
We have a guest that has joined us.
Oh, we have a guest.
Yeah, we have a guest. I tell you what. How about we taste Greg's, then we'll record a little bit more with Rusty for a week that was for tomorrow.
Okay.
Or we drop this one for a week it was, and record a little bit more, and then try the Basil Hayden.
That's fine. Where's the Basil Hayden at? Where's that?
He just put it here.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, yeah, I see it. Oh.
All right, so we are going. Can you hear?
Sound like a peacock. You got to put the mic closer to your face, Rusty. You need the balls to hit the chin.
We'll deal with that in a second.
Yeah.
All right.
You got to turn it on.
Well,
that's
Greg brought us a gift tonight to try. Let's see. What do you got there, Greg? He got what is that? That's a Bardstown.
Bards.
Gary, read or Greg, read what it
you
says
read,
there.
You read to us, Greg.
Bardstown.
It's the Discovery Series. It's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 115 proof.
115 proof. Oh, that sounds good. Hold on. What's my Blanton's only 93 proof. Okay.
All right. So the way we do it here on the patio, hopefully you're not afraid of germs. We got the bottle.
We ain't got no shot glasses here, kid.
So start us off there.
Do it.
I think he's already been drinking on this bottle.
Yes, it looks like the bottle's been already drank from. All right.
What do you think? What's the nose like, Gary?
I smell some vanilla. It smells a little earthy to me. I don't know. Let me take a swig. Definitely a higher proof, I'll tell you that.
You got a little burn on the back end.
I got some burn.
Here, pass this way.
I got some burn. It's good.
So this
it's
is,
good. My ears are tingling, though.
The Discovery series. So, Greg, how much is this bottle here, probably?
My wife got taken on that.
Taken? Where'd she get taken to?
She went to go get Blanton's, and they didn't have any.
So they said, here's a...
sold her that, and it was $200.
Oh! Hold on.
Okay, this is probably the most expensive bottle I've tried. Just so you know. I'm glad I asked now. I had no idea. Let's see. I got
What'd you get?
It smells like bourbon.
Smells like bourbon. Yeah.
It smells like bourbon.
Because it is bourbon.
Very
it's
earthy
crazy.
and earthy. I don't smell any spice to it.
But
That's solid.
I mean, it's good. But you can definitely tell it's a higher proof.
See, I don't feel it here. I feel it in my nose.
Yes, it's up top. It's in the nasal passages
That's
where
good,
it gets.
That's good.
It gets nasally.
It gets nasally. Rusty is going to be joining us in a minute. He's on the air right now. He happened to just walk in. He's going to take a taste.
He got to take a taste.
We'll give you a little feedback about Rusty. Thanks.
All right. He's putting it up to his lips.
He's putting it up to his lips.
He's taking a swig. He's got it. It's in his throat. It's going down his esophagus. Yes. Higher proof will do that to you. You know.
But it's good.
It's good.
It's really good. It's good. So I think that one's good.
It's a good bottle. I mean, I definitely mix it with some Dr Pepper, and I'm sure it tastes even better.
You would mix.
I'd mix it with Dr Pepper.
I mentioned at the start of this. Look, go watch our Buffalo Trace sampling that we did. Dropped on Sunday. And I apologize for the audio, but Blanton's is listed there. We tasted Blanton's, and I got to tell you,
it was definitely in our top 10, 100%. Top 10.
Look, Gary loves Blanton's.
Top 10.
But we found out he maybe doesn't love it as much as he thinks he does. I'll just say that. What kind of parting words you got? What kind of parting words? We're going to say, Gary, you go last.
I go last.
Greg, thanks for joining us. What's your parting words for this episode this evening?
Gary route with a funny one-liner.
Yeah, do it.
Don't pet the sweaty things and don't sweat the petty things.
Yeah, I love it. He stole it from you,
things.
Gary. He stole it from you, Gary. Gary, what do you have to say this evening? This Tuesday morning.
Oh, I do not know. I'm just going to go with the first thing that comes to my mind. I'm just happy to be here. I'm glad that I was here with you guys, but go watch our video. We tasted all those whiskeys or those bourbons. They were delicious. We had a great time at Marty Marr's Bar and Grill.
Yes, join us. We will be back at Marty Marr's Bar and Grill. I don't know if we'll get one in this week. We're going to try. But definitely get with us on Thursday. It's St. Patty's Day. I'll be wearing green again. Mm-hmm. But go check out our YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Follow us. We had our biggest download day as a podcast. 285 downloads last Thursday. So it was a nice surprise.
Stop focusing on pronouns and privates. Privates and pronouns.
Focus on what's important.
Focus on happiness and love. Spread the love, not the pronouns.